If they do that, they're going to be very, 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 very tough to beat.
That's why Hunter's in right there. Oh, got to shoot a three.
Wilson. Oh, and we are tied.
What a game.
Let's go.
Call the five slammer down.
And I don't ever let them forget where we come from.
Getting those phones out. You quote me acting ignorant, man.
Baylor empties it out. With toss. It's going the other way. Second pick of the night. Jeremiah Wilson finishes this one.
The dream is alive for Houston.
Go Cougs! Let's go!
Welcome to this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, presented by the Saxenian Family, Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian Family, and secondary sponsor, Star Pizza. It's official. Well, let me say, like you don't know who I am. I am KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Round Ball Review, and with me is my brother, Dayon Dunlap. How you doing, my man?
Big 12 runs through us, Kris.
That's
back
it.
to back. That's how I'm doing right now. They run
That's
through
it.
the 8, man. You got to come through the city if you want that Big 12 title, man.
And as he said so accurately and proudly, the Cougs made it official, outright champs with today's 73-64 win over the Cincinnati Bearcats. And let me say this to our fans. Thank you for your patience, because the schedule changed. And let me be honest, there was doubt if the net cutting ceremony would take place today, after today's game, up until probably 3 minutes left in the game. So once that was done, that forced a change in the start time for today's show. Then that went long. And then I found out that the UCF women's team wanted to practice on Fertitta Center court, and I could not be in the building for that. So I had to leave the building and get to my house. Well, folks had not left Fertitta Center yet, so I was in traffic. So here we are, finally underway with this edition of it. But one of the pictures, a few pictures, new toy here with the platform. I like that because it's what needs to be said. But that's the before picture, fans. Before picture, Big 12 champs with the net untouched. And this is the after picture with the net cut down. One man who had the last say in cutting down that net, y'all know who that is, Coach Sampson. A man who's been around with Coach Sampson for 6 years, Mr. Juwan Roberts, cut down the net as well, got a little strand of it. And then Coach Sampson, all casual, talking to the media with the net hanging on his shoulder, talking to us. But those are some of the picks of the official Big 12 back-to-back regular season champions. And as I'm going to say it for Ron HD, we run the Big 12. We run this conference. Yes.
Yes, sir.
It feels great to say it's official. And as the ticker says it, 25-4, 17-1 in the Big 12. That is still mind-blowing to be 17-1 in this conference, because this is a hell of a conference. 17-1. But LJ Cryer came through with 20 points. Cougs started slow, trailed 10-2, then went on a 14-0 run, got it going, and we can touch on it, but I want to give a couple of updates to our viewing fans. I don't know if you are a person who prays or into that thing, but I'm not going to go into specifics, but just say a prayer for Fluff, McKiver, and his family, because he had a family emergency, and that's why he's not with us on today's show. And based on what he said, he might not make it here in town Sunday and then for Monday's game. So just keep Fluff and his family in your prayers. Andy had a prior commitment, and that's why he's not with us. So it's just me and Dayon talking about the back-to-back Big 12 regular season champs. So let's get into it. What's the first thought in your brain, brother?
Well, before we get into it, prayers out to Fluff and the entire family. You know, we definitely with you in spirit, brother. Send out the best wishes to you and your family. That's first and foremost. But slow start was it's kind of concerning, but it's a game of basketball. Then after that, once we settled in, Houston, I think Coach Sampson really got into the guys. I'm pretty sure he used some choice words, and really that second group really got the team going, picked it up with energy for the entire team. You sat down LJ, sat down J1, and that second group with Terrence, Malik. Yep, and those two, like just the energy and the plays they started to make, to kind of settle us in it, and that's really the making of this team. I mean, in any given game, any players can kind of get that culture, get the blood going, and get the energy going. And then pretty much everyone who played tonight got on the scoreboard, and so just that depth, that second unit being able to come in and set the level of intensity of what Houston needed to be able to come back and take control of that game was really what turned the game around early.
Agreed. And Juan Roberts was the big man in foul trouble in the first half, not JoJo Tugler. So Juan sat down with 2 early fouls. JoJo did not have a foul in the first half. Tugler and Francis combined for
2 fouls.
It wasn't a great ideal start, but Coach Sampson said after the game, it never gets old. Cutting down the nets doesn't get old. It's just I think he recalled the first time in his coaching career that he cut down nets that Lauren was with him on the ladder, and I think he said Lauren was 3 years old.
Wow.
So he said it never gets old. We can just talk about that. And Mr. Big Texco, I saw your earlier post, your comment. Let me get your thoughts on it too, Dayon. Seems like it wasn't just Cincinnati today. The last few times when an opponent gets aggressive on the Cougs with their full court traps, presses, that the Cougs are struggling to beat that. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely really stuck out today. And I think teams probably will watch film and watch that and try to challenge them even more. But I'm not so much worried, because I don't want to say Houston got complacent, because I'll give credit to Cincinnati for being aggressive and getting in the right position to cause those turnovers. But one of them, Malik picked up his dribble as soon as he crossed over half court with nowhere to go. So that's on him, something we control. But I'm not really concerned about it. But I will say our guards, if it's a man-to-man press, you just got to be able to handle the ball, make smart plays, and move the ball. But I just feel like we knew we had the game. We wasn't really just being aggressive, attacking the press, looking to get the ball up. So we was just kind of moving the ball and not really. I mean, it was bad, but not really concerning for me. But I will say it's something I'm sure that Coach Sampson and staff will rectify and get in that film room and get on the practice court and be prepared, because I'm sure it's something they'll see in the Big 12 tournament. I'm sure they'll see it then.
Yeah, LJ got careless with the ball down the stretch a couple of times, and that's correctable. You know, salute to Cincinnati for Coach Miller for doing anything to get different, to work for his team. But when a team presses, you got to attack it. You get the ball, you toss it up front, because most times you got a teammate alone in the front court. So attack it, throw the ball over it. Don't try to dribble through it and beat it. Make quick passes, direct, fast passes, and beat it like that. And you can get some easy layups. Watch the film. And I think the staff is smart enough to probably realize that teams will see this as a possible chink in the armor of the Cougs, a weaker point, or an area to attack the Cougs, something to work on, another thing to work on for them. We'll see. And it's, exactly. They were not attacking it, the press. You attacking it easy layups. True. As Crabtree says, Cincy is top 26 defense. Give them credit. Oh, yeah. give them credit. And
they
Jizzle
got
James,
athletic guards, so
yes, Jizzle James and Dayon Thomas are two very good guards, quick guards. And
Mitchell can really defend too.
And their best way of scoring was Jizzle or Day going one-on-one and attacking off the dribble because they weren't great shooters. They had some tough shots, things like that. So we always give the opponent credit here on this show. We're also going to point out things the Cougs can work on to get better. But what are your thoughts when JV, he did have that drive. He attacked it, and it was kind of like he lost it because like he was planning to dunk it, and then the ball kind of went out of his hand, and it got high off the glass for a layup. Still counted, though. But he's played very well.
Yeah. He's played really well. I really want to give him his flowers and his credit for his consistency. And even though him and JoJo are split minutes, he often leads often leads the team in rebounds. I don't know what it is per average, but when he's on the floor, he's impactful. Whether it's rebounding, it's changing shots, blocking shots, great hands, can finish around the paint. I do think he's a little better offensively than JoJo as far as being able to catch it and making a decisive move and finish with the right or left hand. But I think he's been really consistent. And for a player who started every game last year on a team that won the Big 12 title, to sacrifice his starting position for the betterment of the team really just shows the culture. Coach Sampson preaches, you want to play for something that's bigger than you. So to have a senior or upperclassman who's coming off of starting his entire year, in which he arguably can be starting. I mean, he can make a case, hey, I should be starting. But what does he do? He comes in with his hard hat on, and he comes ready to work. It comes in, and he produces. And so definitely shouts out to JVR, man. He's been big time for us.
And 8 Cougs played. 8 Cougs scored at least 6 points. Malik Wilson had 8 off the bench, 4 for 6. I kind of, let me know if you agree with this. Malik seems to be a better shooter fading away to his left than he does going to his right.
Yeah. And that's common for right-handed players. I mean, being able to settle in to your right and fade to the left. But his mid-range has gotten very, very efficient and almost looks automatic. I mean, once he gets to his spots and elevates and fades in that mid-range, it's his spot. And I really like what I'm seeing. He cuts well. He rebounds well. He got some couple steals today that was really impactful. And so, I mean, I love what I'm seeing from Malik. I think he's shown not only can he take over a game like he did against Kansas, but, man, in big-time moments with the experience that he has, he's seen a lot. But now it just seems like he's in such a good groove and in such a good rhythm. He knows what he needs to do to impact the game, whether it's defense, whether it's rebounding, whether it's getting into the paint, getting to the rack. I mean, he's one of those glue pieces, glue guys that you need. Like, for example, if one of the guards, any 3 of the starting guards is just not having it for a stretch, you can confidently go to Malik, and he's going to be impactful in ways that maybe he wasn't last year. And so this year, I mean, he's been lights out. I got to give him his flowers as well, because he's been the glue guy, and oftentimes, especially today, to come in and get the team a spark that they need to ignite the team. And he did that. Him and Terrence. I want to say him and Terrence definitely did that today.
Yeah, Malik, Terrence, and Jay combined for 24 bench points on 11 for 16 shooting from the floor. So they were very efficient. So they got it done. The Cougs had a 40-24 edge in the paint. All part of the 73-64 win over Cincinnati to improve to 17-1 in the Big 12. 2 years in the Big 12, 2 years back, 2 years regular season champs. It is just a salute again to Crabtree, Mr. Big Texaco, Kevin Hancock, everybody, Boom Boom, Ron, for being patient with us because the change
and riding with us all year. They've been riding with us all year. I want to shout them out too, man. Every game after this entire season, we've had you guys been consistent with us. So I definitely appreciate you guys as well, man, for being locked in with us for sure.
And on the court, taking pictures and trying to get some footage of the net cutting down. I had once again, as It's great that fans recognize me from this show. Hey, y'all doing a show tonight? I'm definitely watching tonight. And I said at the time, I'm watching, looking forward to it. And one fan, I could tell he watches the show. He said to me, Kris, this is one step down and one step closer to everybody seeing you in San Antonio, it's confetti angels. So that is a definite proof of someone who watches this show. So salute to everyone watching Let's Rage Coogs post-game shows. Saluting also to our primary sponsor, the Saxenian Family, our secondary sponsor, Star Pizza, Mike and Jennifer Pittman. I saw them this afternoon, an hour before tip-off, because Star Pizza had pizzas ready for the first 1,000 fans inside the building today. So that was great to see as well. But let's talk about it. Because Terrence, he scored 10 points today, 5 for 8 from the floor. But Mr. Big Texco kind of echoes some of the things you and I feel about Terrence. Here we go here. Don't know how I feel about TA. I thought we would see more this year. I know it's coming back from injury, but I want more. I believe he can be a big plus. What do you think?
I echo those same sentiments, Big Tex. I'm with you 1,000%. Although I will not undermine what it is to come off an Achilles injury, because I've never faced it, but just covering sports all my life and being around sports, the severity of it, they say it takes another year till you really feel like yourself. But from what I've seen him on the court, I have to give my opinion and my critique of it. And like Mr. Big Tech said, for me personally, it hasn't been enough. I have expectations of him to being a pro, so I expect to see pro-like things on a consistent basis. It doesn't have to be on every night, but a play here, a play there, or a couple of possessions here, a couple of possessions there, I expect to see some of those things, and I haven't really seen it. Although, like Mr. Big Tech said, he will and can be big for us, but I expected to see a little more this year, and he gets the opportunity. Coach Sampson and staff, they isolate him in the areas that he would like the ball. He does some good moves. Sometimes the shots fall, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm just like, what is it that he does well that's going to propel him to the next level? Is it just potential? But what is it now? What is it now that he can lean on? It's like, I'm really good at this. I know he's good at a multitude of things, a very versatile player, but I'm just thinking from years past, and I'm like, I'm just waiting to see it, and it hasn't been consistent from a game-to-game basis.
Agreed. And you talked about his offense. I'm gonna talk about his defense and his rebounding.
Yeah,
that has to improve as well, because
good point.
He's the one who gets, well, he and Emmanuel, but talking about TA right now, he gets out of position gets a back cuts. He doesn't rebound like he should. Sometimes he doesn't hit that, grab the ball with two hands, kind of physicality on the boards. The potential is there, but he's got to bring it game in and game out on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, because the versatility that he can provide the lineup. He could be that 4-man when it's just Javier at the 5, because, and that's important in that situation. He has to do a better job rebounding, and that's when the guards need to rebound. All the other 3 guards need to rebound as well. He's getting, what are we, 29 games into the season, 25 or 29 games into the season, and we're still having some questions about his consistency. So that is an area of improvement for him. The Cougs won this game by 9 points differently than the previous game. They were only 3 for 14 from 3 today, and they still won this game. Pretty much about double digits until the final moments when they did not do a good job attacking the Bearcats' pressure defense. But it's still a great win. The start 10-2 was some of those shots that they missed. The ball rolled in and out for that 10-2 start. So the shots I was okay with. The floor spacing I wasn't okay with some of the time. They improved the floor spacing, so that got better. Second half, Jaquan Roberts was much more aggressive because he sat down for much of the first half because of surely fouls. So it's just another example of different guys can step up and score at different points of the game. And then when needed, LJ says, all right, my turn. I'll go and get the rest.
That's pretty much how it was. I mean, but just to piggyback on that last conference, I definitely don't think he hit his full potential yet. And I think this season, it'd be good for him. It has been good for him just coming off the injury and not having to be really, really and truly counted on to have to produce for us to win. I think that's a good role for him the way he's in, because next year, now I'll probably critique him even more with what we're losing and the role that he'll be stepping into. And so all things considered, I mean, I'm still high on Terrence. I think he still definitely has a high ceiling, no ceiling. I mean, he could be as good as he want to be. And I definitely think he's with the right staff. Of course, he wouldn't be here if he knows the development they can help him with. But LJ has been consistent. Of course, every player has bad games, but one thing that is consistent is his defense. I mean, LJ really, really guards. And I think that's something that, like you mentioned, Kris, when you talked about Terrence, that's a big key because he's the upperclassman. He's the statesman. He's won a national title. And so for someone who is the captain, who's your 6-year guy, he has to set the tone defensively. And often he really gives maximum effort whether his jumper is falling or not. He didn't start off good, but he ended up shooting 50%. And one thing I like, he only was 2 for 6 from 3, but he still was able to find ways to score, be a good 2-point scorer. His mid-range, his floater, he was able to get to that at a good rate today, and all looked good. It all looked natural. So I think now he's really settling in. And JoJo made some great passes. That chemistry on that dribble drive and that dribble handoff was really good. I think the commentator said they've seen him working on that a lot, and it really showed. And so I really like what I'm seeing from LJ. And like Fluff said, I mean, he trusts in four, and I trust in the captain as well. I think the way that he's playing, regardless of what the game is, he's been consistent, and he's always a threat. Although Milos didn't have a strong game like he's been having all month, I think he did exactly what I wanted, like I talked about him doing. I never really look at his point total. It's just about he being aggressive to collapse the defense to create opportunities, whether it be from LJ, Emmanuel, or whoever. And oftentimes he was able to break down that defense and get to his floaters. But he turned the ball over too many times today. 4 turnovers to only 2 assists, I believe. And he was one of the highest in the country in assist to turnover ratio. Can't have that from Milos. But overall, I think our guards played well. Emmanuel, what's your take on Emmanuel? I want to get your take on what you saw from him today.
He, for the most part, his defense was better. One of the 3-point shots he took was against beating the press. I thought it was too early for him to take such a deep 3. Then he took 1 3 off just one dribble against, what's the young fella's name? Lukosius, Seamus Lukosius. I was like, beat him off the dribble, man. You know, I mean, attack him off the dribble. He had better looks when he drove to the basket. You know me, I like to see Emmanuel mix it up with some drives to the hoop because he's a great free throw shooter. He can finish better at the hoop now. The Los and the turnovers, for most of the game, the team had 3 turnovers. The last 5 minutes or so, LJ and Milos combined for 6. So they finished with 9 as a team, and your starting backcourt had 6 of them. That's not a good thing. That needs to be corrected. And
I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it will. But as Mr. Big Texco says again about LJ, his mid-range game, he's mixing it up. His dribble drive game is getting better. The step back, he's going into his bag. He's diversifying his offense when teams are trying to take away his 3-point shot. But I wanted to touch on what you said. One of the things that the coaches kind of are adding more to is JoJo as a facilitator on the perimeter. He made some good passes, nice backdoor passes a few times.
He did.
So that's another weapon that the team can go to, because if you give him the ball, out high and the guards can beat their man baseline, JoJo sees it. I think there was a couple of times he missed on those looks, but he's getting better at that. So that's another option for the offense to improve as in this final stretch of games of regular season, Big 12 tournament, and most importantly, the 6 games for the NCAA championship, which we hope the Cougs win.
No, for sure. I mean, you said it right. And I think really the make of this team, it all starts on the defensive end. And early, I think just that intensity wasn't there to start the game. But then that defense, I mean, when they made those subs and Malik, they came in with it and started getting deflections and getting different things to get out in transition and create some easy opportunities. And that's what Houston is at their best, because they're almost like a running team. They're going to run the ball. Just to use the football analogy, they're going to run the ball and they're going to let the time clock go all the way down and they're going to punch you in the mouth. And so I like that tough physicality way that we play. And it puts an emphasis on the opposing team to be able to score against our defense. And when we score, it allows our defense to be set. And so I really like that. And so I'm just looking forward to this team continuing to get better in different ways that we win and can win. It seems with that extra dimension that you just added, JoJo showing his playmaking ability, I think that's going to open even more for him to sometimes even fake passes to be able to drive. His free throws look good today. I mean, and so I'm loving what I'm seeing overall as Coach Sampson seems to be adding more and more. And also you mentioned, I think somebody in the comments mentioned Milo's defense. It was Crabtree. I got to give him credit on defensive end as well. It was often times where he used his big physique and his body to be able to stop the dribble, stop the drive without fouling. And so Milos is really coming into his own, man. This is really, he's playing his best basketball. And he's in my opinion, the catalyst to really get us to where we want to go. It doesn't have to be with scoring. Scoring is just a plus. But I just think with his aggression, his playmaker, and him as well as guarding the ball, and I think we can really get to where we want to go.
And I think this is a good point. I like to see Los and JoJo and pick and roll more.
Yeah.
But I think Coach Sampson and the staff are still fine-tuning the offense and finding, adding things to the offense that can work, that will work. So this is just another tool in the toolbox for Coach Sampson to go to. And one thing I think folks who have seen Coach these 11 years, he really does a great job of going with a matchup edge, whoever it is for his team. If it's in low post, he's going to the low post. If it's on the wing, he's going to the wing. If it's on the perimeter, he's going to the perimeter. And this year's team has all those ways that can beat you. They can score. They can beat you inside, beat you off the dribble. Now, we had questions about that earlier in the season.
Right.
It can beat you from 3. So it's just Los has gotten better in the pick and roll. Today, they did not have a dunk, but they scored 11 layups. So we did not get a chance to see Milos and JoJo connect on an alley-oop pass. That's not their game in and game out like I think would like to see more of. But that's another option for this team to add. You got so many different ways to beat opponents. Previous Coug teams would wear you down defensively, throw up a shot, and go get the miss. This year's team can actually score, make 7 straight baskets, 5 straight baskets. They can beat you offensively as well as wear you down with that physical defense. So the offensive efficiency is different with this year's team, and that's why I think this year's team has a very great chance of getting those 6 straight wins and winning it all, and making Dayon, me, Fluff, Andy happy. Real quickly, for those who are joining us in the last few moments, thank you for joining tonight's Let's Rage Coogs post-game show. I want to let you know, if you're wondering, where's Fluff? Well, unfortunately, Fluff had a family emergency happen So families first for all of us. So he's with his family at this time. So if you are prayerful, say a prayer for Fluff. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him since he sent me the message that he couldn't make it tonight because of the emergency. So I'm not sure if he will be able to join us for Monday's game in person. Hope so, because if he can, that means the emergency was not as bad as we feared. And then Andy had a prior commitment. So that's why it's just Dayon and myself with you on tonight's edition of Let's Rage Coogs. But as always, Let's Rage Coogs is presented by our primary sponsor, Steve Saxenian and the Saxenian Family, as well as our secondary sponsor, Star Pizza, Mike and Jennifer Pittman. Star Pizza, great pizza, man. I didn't stay up there with the students to see how quickly the pizza went away, but I know it didn't take long. 1,000 students, everybody who's been young, been a teenager, or loves pizza, good pizza goes fast. So I posted pictures of it.
Free pizza goes fast.
That too. Free pizza.
Good and free pizza goes fast.
Good and yes, sir. And that's what it was for both. It was both good and free pizza. So it went fast. So again, thank you very much to Mike and Jennifer Pittman for their support for Let's Rage Coogs and their support of Pod Slamma Jamma, specifically their support of the Houston Round Ball Review, specifically. They are one of, if I may, real quick, brother, they are one of the folks who have hopped on my Houston Round Ball Review new online business directory. So take advantage of that opportunity. Easy price is less than $1 a week for the whole year to participate in that as the Houston Round Ball Review business directory. But back to it, talking about the back-to-back Big 12 champs, Cougs 17-1 after defeating the Cincinnati Bearcats today, 73-64. LJ Cryer scores 20 points, a game high 20 points. 8 Cougs played, all 8 scored, and all 8 scored at least 6 points. Cougs got 24 points off the bench, won that advantage, and did a great job in the paint, 40-24 as well. You got it, brother.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Dayon. I know he struggled with foul trouble earlier, but he was efficient tonight. And one thing I like from Dayon, and to one of your earlier points that Houston can beat you in different ways, I think when he had that stretch to start the Big 12, really put him on the team's radar even more and maybe moved him up the scouting report, because as I'm watching the game, teams are making a conscious effort to not allow him to do the things that he do well and not control the game. And so, like you mentioned, Coach Sampson and staff, they do not hesitate to go to other things and other matchups in their favor and attack those matchups. And to his credit, like I always say, he lets the game dictate what needs to be done. He lets each game have its own story. And if they're trying to stop Dayon or they're trying to limit LJ, he goes and puts his players in a position to be able to be impactful and be able to execute on the offensive end. And Dayon, he was really patient. That's one thing that stood out to me today. He was patient and he didn't really rush. And I think that's one of his best attributes, is being patient in the post and being able to see the defense and be able to make plays. And that was big. And I think that's a real good key. But and also I want to talk to you about, like you said, with Emmanuel. And we've been talking about this on numerous of shows, of being more than a shooter, being a scorer. Because when he came to UH, of course, that's high school, he was a prolific scorer. And in these previous teams, he's been, I don't want to say just a shooter, because he's really dogged defensively as well. But with his ability to shoot free throws and his big, strong, wide body as he has, I want to see him like be aggressive a little bit more, because they're going to close out to run him off the three-point line, just to be a little bit more aggressive, driving to the basket and looking to create contact to get to the free throw line. And when that three isn't falling, he was 1 for 5 today and 3 for 7. Take a little bit out of LJ's playbook. Now look to get to that mid-range. And early in the season, I want to do it like I talked about LJ earlier. He early in the season, didn't look natural in the mid-range, playing through pick and rolls and getting to whether his floaters or his mid-range. Now I could just tell he's steady putting in the work. It seems very settled down in a half-court set. and he often picks his spots. And now he's becoming a true 3-level scorer. And I think with that, man, no telling where he can go professionally, but where he can lead this team to.
All right. Thank you to Houston SID. I saw a question from Demerick here about had this been the best regular season championship for the Cougs. And I wanted to be correct before I said anything. I thought it was one undefeated season, and it was. The Cougs, Phi Sigma Gamma, went undefeated, perfect 16-0 back in 1982-83 season. So 16-0 then. This year's team is currently 17-1. So that going undefeated, that team, that record won't be broken. So, but that was a hell of a team. But this team is a hell of a team as well. 17-1 in the Big 12. We're talking about it here on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on tonight's show, watching us on Pause Semi Jamma on Twitter, Pause Semi Jamma on YouTube, and also the Houston Round Ball Review YouTube channel.
Kris.
And yes, sir.
Remember after last show, we were talking about the seed line. I think Houston was on a 2 seed line. We were talking about, we felt like Houston was a 1 seed. I think that next day the report come out that kind of moved them up to a 1 seed. And it seems as if they pretty much are solidifying themselves as a 1 seed. What are you seeing, and what are your thoughts on that?
So far from more and more bracketologists, and there's like only 1 or 2 that I really trust, because I found, I got to send you the link to it, but there's like a and it's for everybody, it's not private, it's like media only, a bracketology matrix that tracks and ranks the best bracketologists year in, year out. And let's just say one person who works for ESPN, I won't say his name, he's not ranked as high as you might think, folks. So I'm just putting it out there. So, and he was one of the last bracketologists to move the Cougs to the 1 seed line. There were others who I trust more who moved them up earlier to the 1 seed line. They're the last, well, not say last, the 4th number 1 seed. So as the 4th number 1 seed, they would be the 1 seed in the San Francisco region. Now, their first 2 rounds, they would be most likely in Wichita, Kansas, but that would be because as being the 4th number 1, the top 3 seeds, 1 seeds, are going to go to their whatever the closest first round site to them. So now if they're able to move up to the 3rd number 1 seed, then maybe something else is closer, which I'm not sure about all that. But San Francisco would be the region for the Cougs as the 4th number 1 seed. And of course, as the 4th number 1, many fans is what they want, because that would mean Houston avoids 1 seed Auburn, 1 seed Duke, 1 seed Alabama, probably Tennessee won today, so probably not Alabama.
Probably Tennessee.
So Tennessee. So then you'd have Cougs. Yeah, Tennessee might be beneficial, because with that, Tennessee Cougs, that could go either way. Cougs might be the 3rd 1 seed in that scenario. So that would make possibility of being closer, whatever closest. So we have Indianapolis, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Newark. So if the Cougs are the 3rd number 1 seed, then they could possibly be in Atlanta. I think that's how it is. Or Indianapolis, because maybe Auburn would be in Atlanta for their region, and the Cougs would be in Indianapolis. So, folks, you might want to root for Tennessee to get a couple more wins, and the Cougs went out. Boy, they keep proving me wrong, brother, because 4 games ago, I did not think the Cougs were going to be 19-1 in the Big 12. Well, they're 2 wins away from going 19-1 in the Big 12.
I mean, hey, I'm with you on that. I didn't foresee it coming, but that's just a testament to Coach Sampson, the GOAT, and this team, and steady coming together. I think Coach Sampson mentioned it earlier, just some of the times the players missed early in the season, off season, and I think that showed in those early in the season, especially in those losses. But now, if they gotten fully healthy and they've been able to really earned their chemistry. I think, like Coach Sampson always says, they've gotten better month to month. And now that we're into March, they're playing really, really good basketball. And I'm excited for this Big 12 tournament. I'm excited heading into the NCAA tournament. Once we continue to stay healthy, I really like our chances against anybody.
Agreed. And we talked about with the added dimension of JoJo as a facilitator on the perimeter, it looks like the staff is still adding things to the offense. So that is a good thing.
Still expanding it.
So that's a positive going forward as well. And I've said it, I think people see it more and more. This team is special because they're winning a lot of different ways. A lot of different guys are stepping up to be the leading scorer game in, game out. Defensively, they're still grinding, shutting teams down, but they can have those offensive bursts, go on a 14-0 run like they did today, beat you from three-point range some games. Other games beat you inside, beat you off the dribble. Heck, the Cougs were 10 for 12 from the free throw line today, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's un-Coug-like, but they're making their bigs. Mr. Big Texco are making free throws.
Only 3 from 14 from the three.
Yeah.
And so people, remember they asked the last time, what do we think about Houston relying on a three? And I don't really think we rely on a three.
Right.
We don't hunt threes like Fluff said. We just taste when the defense gives us. And oftentimes when we're playing through J1 or if Milos is getting into the paint, that opens it up the space for our shooters, whether it be LJ, Emmanuel, or Milos has been knocking it down at a good rate. And so, I mean, like you just said, we can beat you however you want it. You want it inside, you want it outside, you want the mid-range. We're going to force you to execute defensively, and we're going to slow the game down. And so I think with what they showed today, turning it over in a full-court press, I really expect teams to try to speed up the pace and try to force Houston to play faster to see if they can force some turnovers and not have to go against our half-court elite defense.
And some more info from Mr. Conrad from UH. The 2001-2002 Kansas team went 16-0 in the Big 12. This year's Cougs team and the 1920 Kansas team went 17-1 for the second highest percentage in Big 12 play. Of course, the Cougs have 2 more games. The Jayhawks, that 1920 Jayhawks team, that was it. They played 18 conference games. So, yeah, this team is special. Another example of special. Forgot to mention earlier, LJ Cryer scored his 1,000th point today. LJ Cryer is, I think 4 for 4 in Big 12 championships, 2 at Houston, 2 at Baylor.
Yep.
And we hope he becomes the first and only player to win a national championship at 2 different teams. He won his first one at Baylor, and we hope he gets his second one at Houston April 7th. So he's had a hell of a career. He is the – go ahead.
I was just thinking about, as you were saying, that he has the opportunity to be one of Houston's best basketball players from the city. Had a prolific high school career, came back home, scored 1,000 points for his hometown collegiate team, and he has a chance to bring the first ever natty to the city. LJ really has a big, big chance to make his mark for the city of Houston, man, and I love it.
And I wanted to pull up. I don't know how many Coug fans, if Coug fans do this, allow themselves to do this, but this comment from Mr. Big Texco: if Florida loses tonight, Cougs should be the 3rd number 1 seed. Well, for that to happen, the Aggies would have to beat Florida in Gainesville. Right now, the Aggies are losing by 7. So you want to tune into that game or wave some Cougar magic while you're watching the game to see if it seeps through the TVs or your laptop or your phone, whatever, and helps the Aggies pull off that victory, do so. But talking about the Cougs, 17-1 in the Big 12, 25-4 overall. And yes, that is correct. 1,000 points with Houston. That's right. He became, I think, the 53rd player in Houston Cougar program history to score 1,000 points as a Coug. Emmanuel Sharp is moving in on that 1,000 point plateau as well. Crabtree with a great point. Fact. Houston has been in the top 5 in Ken Palm the past 5 years. This program is not just good. It has been one of the best in the modern era. And let me see if I'm going to play the clip. I don't know, but I hope you already have seen it. See if I can pull it up real quick. The comment from Jay Williams when I asked him last Friday, the day before game day, if he was surprised at the Cougs' success this early. Let me see if I can find that.
As you try to pull it up, I've been thinking this. The Big 12 got an old sheriff back in town, baby, and he's running things.
Yes.
And that's Coach Sam.
Indeed.
He's back, and he's running things just like it's supposed to be done. And now there's no time to look and us letting up.
They've had so early in the Big 12.
I mean, I literally wrote down a number. 29-4 is ridiculous. It's I don't know if I am surprised. I think I'm more shocked. I think I am shocked. I think that's an honest assessment. And I thought it would take some time to adjust to the caliber of the Big 12, but there's so many moving parts. And I think that speaks volumes about how they recruit, I talk a lot about foundation, what that foundation is here, and how that's portable. And that can be dropped in any conference, and it will translate towards success. I think I am shocked they translated so quickly to dominance. I think success and dominance are two different things, right? You can be successful in the league and, think about what we're talking about with the SEC, right? You're talking about teams that maybe finish 7-10 in the SEC can make the tournament. Granted, the SEC is an incredible conference, but, you can have marginal year number-wise and that still be a successful year depending where you are. But this is dominance. That's a different word than success.
Dominance. It's the difference between
this is dominance.
Successful season. It's dominance, man. We run the Big 12.
We run this conference. And I'm proud to be. I know you are too. You're a proud alum as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is dominance. And I don't want to pour cold water on the dominance, but I'm going back to what you say, and you put it out there. You're a positive thinker, positive vibes. The one thing left to accomplish is to win that national championship. That's it. That's it. Kelvin Sampson will be a Hall of Fame head coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a matter of time. He wants to win that championship.
And I don't want to put these words in his mouth, but I feel like it'd be special regardless of wherever he stops if he won the Natty. But this is a program that he resurrected from the dead. So be able to actually rebuild a program and take it to not only national relevance, but to the best in the country and win the title, I'm sure that'd be gratifying for him, man. And you know what? I always thought about this, but I've never asked him for a picture just out of professionalism. But next time I see Coach Sampson, I got to ask him for a picture just because. I mean, I've been covering the team for so long. I got to be able to have a picture with the GOAT, man. I got to.
That's fair. And I hope we get that opportunity on April 7th. It might take a while.
Yes, sir.
This might be a long line. Want to get that picture, but hey, I hope so. And this, I know what
Big Tex.
I want to get it too. It's and even in his statement, it's not the end game. It's not the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you this though, if the Cougs did both, it did the sweep, Big 12 regular season champs, Big 12 tournament champs, and won the national championship, one of the greatest years in the history of men's college basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm sure one of those haters would find something wrong with that. So what? because that would just be 3 championships, you know, and that's very, very rare to do.
Yeah.
But one thing at a time, 1 down, 2 to go. I have no problem winning the Big 12 championship, getting it done. But of the 2, if only get 1, you know, the Triple Crown, if I only get the regular season championship, got that done, check that box. Last 2 on the list, if they said, well, you can only get 1, Kris, well, hell, I want the Natty. That's what I want, you know.
Natty, man.
But if I can get both, let's be greedy. Let's get them all. Let's get the Triple Crown. Let's be greedy. Get the Triple Crown. And Kelvin Sampson would truly, truly be up there, Hall of Famer, the GOAT, all of that. Because I'm not sure, and I'm pretty sure it's been done before, but it has not been done a lot to win all 3. Regular season championship, conference championship, and national championship. But hey, let's be greedy. 1 down, 2 to go.
Yes, sir.
Cougs next game. Quick turnaround. Kansas Jayhawks, Monday night, senior night. Going to recognize LJ Cryer, Mr. Juan Roberts, Ramon Walker. He's going to be honored, even though they may try to get him come back for another year, a red shirt. And Javier Francis. I think that's 4 of the players or seniors. Malik Wilson, I think, will be honored as well. But it is just, and this is the 3rd golden era of great Cougar basketball. And this, everyone says something similar to this for every team.
Yeah, every team.
Want to be healthy. Who was it? Auburn's Denver Jones kind of got banged up, I think, rolled his ankle earlier today in their game. I mean, basketball is a physical sport.
Yeah, it's just part of it.
Played by people, not played by machines. You know, it's just part of it. You roll an ankle, strange things happen. Land on someone's foot on a jump shot, plant your foot wrong on a drive, you know, whatever. Things like that happen. But this team just has a great chance to close out the home portion of Big 12, beating Kansas, improve to 18-1 in the Big 12, win on senior night, get there early, fans, because they will honor and recognize the seniors before the game. So get there early, 8 o'clock start. Traffic should not be as bad as it is for like a 7 o'clock start, but hope to see you there. Hopefully Fluff will be able to attend the game in person. And is there anything you want to add, man? Oh, let me do this a few more times. Well, one more time if you missed it earlier. This is a picture of one of the backboards. This is the before picture. This is the after picture when the Coug players and coaches cut down the net. Kelvin Sampson. Well, let me salute one of the veteran players. Juan Roberts cut down the net. And then, of course, the last person to cut down the net is a man who helped resurrect this program. Kelvin Sampson brought it back from the dead. Dayon's correct. This program was dead, irrelevant. And there's a close-up of him with the net on his shoulder, like the OG that he is. But yes, the Houston Cougars, 25-4 overall, 17-1 in the Big 12, outright Big 12 regular season champions, back-to-back. I said it. Dayon is saying it. Our fans are learning to say it with their chests too. We, the Houston Cougars men's basketball program, run this conference. We run the Big 12.
And it's so beautiful to see because we all, as Cougars, know the potential of not only our school, but all of athletics and the talent throughout not only the state, but just in Houston. And to have a program that can proudly say that we run a Power 4 conference should only inspire faculty, administration to push for this in every sport. And I'm a proud alum, and I can't wait till the NCAA tournament, till we cut down those nets. And the OG himself, the organized general, gets his first ever national championship with a program that he built.
Yes. And that's going to do it, family. Join us Monday. I'm going to wrap it up. It's just the two of us. Hopefully Andy will join us for sure Monday. And hopefully Fluff will be able to join us as well. So we'll get to force him back. Pray for Fluff and his family. Reminder, he had an emergency in the family this evening. That's why he was unable to join us this evening. But I'm going to wrap it up on my part and then pass off to my brother. Houston Round Bar Review, YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about Let's Rage Coogs. Tell friends about these Houston Cougars post-game shows, how we do it, because we are the original. But I'm wrapping it up. Since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective.
Appreciate everyone who joined us tonight. Prayers for my brother Fluff and his family, first and foremost. Praying for this. So all Cougs, send a prayer out to Fluff and the family. And I'm excited, man. Back-to-back titles. We run the Big 12 like we've been saying, like Kris has coined. You probably need to trademark that. Put that on your mind, Kris. I heard you say it first, so it shows, brother. Go ahead and look into that. Man, I'm excited about this team, one of the best teams that I've ever seen assembled. Just the way that they can be, man. I'm excited to blow out. I want us to blow out Kansas, man. I wanted us to stick it to Kansas once again, like we did last year on our home court on senior night, especially for Dayon. He's been here 6 years, and success he's had, the way he's grown. We got to send him out on a very, very high note. But state to state like license plates. You see it all the way from Oregon. We got people in Germany, international. Thank you guys for riding with us. And as always, can't end this post game without saying go Cougs.